I'm really on a mission to educate Americans about this market. And I'm grateful because, as you mentioned, I have 11 plus years of experience in the real estate game. So it's not like I'm just coming over here because it's cute. I really understand the market. I know what I'm doing now. It's just applying what I know to a new market and really being able to put the world on notice about how great this area is. If we think about it, 9/11 really changed the mindset of a lot of us to say, oh, I'm scared.
Welcome to the Aid to Assets podcast, the ultimate podcast for aspiring real estate investors. I'm your host, Tiffany Watson. Join me as we discuss real estate investing for 9-to-5ers. We'll talk about everything from money mindsets and property ownership and different strategies you can use to invest in real estate. I want to empower investors, especially those of us who are working full-time, who want to navigate the world of real estate, uncover the secrets to building wealth, generate passive income to achieve financial freedom. Equip yourself with resources from experts, practical tips, and step-by-step guides on how to kickstart your real estate journey. We'll also hear from 9-to-5ers who started to build their own portfolios, what they did and how they did it, so you can do it too. Tune in and transform your main job into your biggest silent investor in your real estate investment business. This is your Aid to Assets. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Aid to Assets podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Watson, and I am so excited about our conversation today. We're going to talk about how you cannot just be an investor, but an international investor with my girl, Denise. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I feel good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm a little jealous about that view, let me tell you, but it's all good. We're going
to right behind me.
We're going to talk about why it's so amazing and all the things that you are doing over there. So y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, hit that bell so you never miss another episode, but you are going to want to tune in. So Denise, before we jump in, tell the people who you are, what you do, because I know your amazingness, but I want to make sure that they do.
Yes. So as you mentioned, my name is Denise Williams, also known as Denise the Broker. I am a real estate broker in the Metro Atlanta area, as well as Dubai. I grew up in a small town called Hinesville, Georgia. I always like to rep my small town on these interviews because I think it's very important that people know that it's not about where you start, but it's how you finish. And so I will always be a country girl through and through. Graduated from Valdosta State University in 2011 with a degree in finance. During that same period of time, I became a mother at a pretty young age. So I had to wobble my way to class, but I still got it done.
Period.
And not only that, continued to further my education by getting my real estate license as well as 2 MBA degrees. And so very well educated, now an entrepreneur. I got into the real estate business because corporate America just wasn't allowing for me to grow in the way that I felt I deserved to grow, because no employer can tell you what you're worth. They can put a price tag on you, but when you believe in yourself and your abilities, then you know that your price tag is unlimited. And so I wanted to get into an industry that would allow for me to have the flexibility that I needed from my scheduling perspective as a single mom. I also got into real estate because every millionaire and billionaire I've ever studied, they all touch real estate in some way, whether they own it through commercial acquisitions, whether they own investment properties, or they might even be a real estate agent. I know, and I knew then that I needed to touch real estate to get a way to wealth for myself and my family. And then thirdly, I absolutely love the environment of just being able to help people in this market and look fly when I do it. So I'm like, you know what? Real estate is it. So I've been doing that since 2012. I'm like, I can't believe how long I've been in this industry. So super, super excited to be here. That's just a little bit about who I am and my background.
Love it. Thank you so much. So 13 years in the game. Okay. And so then you have gone, 11 years in the game. My bad, my math. 11 years in the game. You started Hinesville, Georgia, and you are now overseas managing 2 brokerage, one in Atlanta, one in Dubai. Did you imagine this what life was going to be like a decade ago?
So Yes and no. So yes, because I obtained an MBA degree in international business in 2014. So that to me was kind of a entryway or entry point into letting me know that international business is something that I wanted to be a part of. So when I opened my own company, so fast forward to 2018, when I opened my own real estate brokerage, I named it Williams and Co. International Realty. So I had the foresight and the vision to say, you know what, I want to combine my MBA degree with my business entrepreneurship knowledge and one day become a global brand. So I did have that initially. The reason I said no is because I didn't know exactly where I would go or how I would do it, but I knew that it was something that I definitely wanted to do and something I wanted to accomplish. Quite frankly, initially, when I was thinking about an international brokerage, once I did get more experience and my company became more established, and I started to really think about that international position, I was going to go to somewhere like a Mexico or Jamaica, somewhere I felt like was lower barrier to entry within a 4-hour flight or so of Atlanta, just so that I had that convenience of same day travel. And, but once I did further research, I was just like, these markets don't really speak to me. There's still safety concerns. Their currency isn't strong, so I started to kind of weed out some of those destinations. But when I visited Dubai, I fell in love. Like it was just one of those experiences that I was just like, where am I? And I don't want to leave. In fact, I was supposed to be there for 5 days. I got invited out to take part in Steve Harvey's gala and golf tournament because he also owns a company in the Middle East. And so I was there for that launch event. And I was supposed to just be here for 5 days, ended up staying for an entire month. The only reason I came back at that particular time is because it was rolling up on Thanksgiving and I want my son to be like, do I still have a mom? Like, are you ever coming back? So I'm like, what? Let me just go ahead and get my behind back to the States. But it was a seed that was planted. And when I thought back to that experience, I was just like, wait a minute, like, let me do some more research. And I realized that there were not any Americans doing real estate at a high level in Dubai, definitely not Black women. And I'm like, you know what? This is a tremendous opportunity for me to be the liaison between the US and the UAE in the real estate sector. So I'm like, wow, this could really be a life-changing moment. We have to take advantage of certain moments in our lives that will be those exponential growth opportunities. I could have looked at it and said, it was a fun time, come over here and do, all the little fun things that people do for tourism. Or I could have taken it seriously like I did and said, you know what? I want to learn how to actually transact with the wealthy. We all know that Middle Eastern, locals and things like that are some of the wealthiest people in the world. So when it comes to creating and starting a business, you want to follow the wealth. And so that's what I'm doing here in Dubai.
Oh my goodness. Did y'all put in the chat, follow the wealth? Follow the wealth. Success, listen, there's always going to be evidence of what you need to do in order to be successful. It's on us to notice the signs and then be willing to follow. So you started past that, but I want to make sure we circle back. So you went to Dubai for an event, realized there weren't any other Americans that were at that level operating real estate. And so you decided, I'm the one.
I'm the one, and I stand boldly on that, and because I believe in myself. And I know that I'm not just doing this based on just a fad or like, oh, this sounds cool. I'm really on a mission to educate Americans about this market. And I'm grateful because, as you mentioned, I have 11 plus years of experience in the real estate game. So it's not like I'm just coming over here because it's cute. I really understand the market. I know what I'm doing now. It's just applying what I know to a new market and really being able to put the world on notice about how great this area is. If we think about it, 9/11 really changed the mindset of a lot of us to say, oh, I'm scared. Like, oh my gosh, if I see someone that's in their traditional attire, I'm intimidated or I'm scared. And I feel like that has made us lose out on so many opportunities in the Middle East because so many people are just afraid to visit because of so many of the stereotypes that they've heard over the years. And so when I came to see it myself, and I will be honest and say, I also had some of those same, mindset and thought processes before visiting myself. And then when I experienced it, I was like, it's nothing like they said it was. And not to say it may not have been that way in the past, but in today's time, there's so much opportunity for us as foreign investors to collaborate with the Middle East to change the trajectory of generations in our family.
So let's talk about the Dubai market now. You mentioned that was a lot more mature than Atlanta. What does that mean? Tell us what the real estate what's going on over there.
So when it comes to the Dubai real estate market, they make it very simple for foreign investors to invest when they are purchasing new construction properties. So new construction properties is like the number one way for foreign investors to invest in this market because of the low barrier to entry. And your beautiful host here can attest to how simple and easy it was to become an international investor in Dubai. But just for our listeners, let's definitely walk them through what that process looks like, because I think it's important for people to know what your options are when it comes to having disposable income and you're looking at investing. So, what off plan properties or new construction properties are here in Dubai is simply purchasing a floor plan prior to a project being built. So the same way in the US, you may have heard or may have even purchased a new construction property where you went, you saw a model home, you signed a contract for paper. The property doesn't exist yet, you have a lot, and they build that home over time. So the same concept applies in Dubai. However, when you make that decision or that purchase in the US, they're going to be looking at your credit score. They're going to look at your bank statements. They're going to want to see tax returns, and they're going to get all in your business about your finances to make sure that you are pre-approved for this home if you want to obtain lending. In Dubai, they allow you to essentially mimic a financing purchase by way of a payment plan without those documents being necessary. So there is no credit score, there is no bank statement, there is no tax returns required in order to purchase a new construction property with cash in Dubai. So how it works is essentially you find a project that you really love and you put down a down payment. So this is going to be a lower barrier to entry than purchasing a property that currently exists. So a new construction property that does not yet exist will have a down payment of anywhere between 10 to 20% down. In most cases, it's going to be 20% down. Okay. So I want you to write down 20% just so that you can prepare yourself for worst case scenario. Okay. And that's going to be 20% of the purchase price. After that, you're going to pay a 4% fee to the Dubai Land Department, which is a one-time fee to the government. You do not make any additional fees to them after this purchase. And that essentially is your property taxes. So another huge benefit about Dubai is that there are no annual property taxes. So that saves you tremendously over time towards owning a property in Dubai. Okay. After that, you may pay a small administrative fee of about, it can range from $1,000 up to about $5,000, depending on the developer and the project and price point. And then that's pretty much it when it comes to the payment process. You wire those funds over to an escrow account where it's held securely in a Dubai bank. And then you start to make your payments as scheduled on that payment plan. Now, the beautiful part about how it works is that you're able to make those payments alongside the construction of that project. So you may have a payment plan where they'll say, okay, you put down your 20% plus your 4% fee, and then you make a 10% payment every 3 months. Or you may have a payment plan that allows for you to put down a 20% down payment, and then you make 1% payments per month until the completion of the project. And then they will allow post handover payments beyond the completion of the project. So that strategy allows for you as an investor to now purchase something new. But get this, the benefit of also purchasing new construction is that you are getting it at the lowest cost that it will ever be. Why? Because it doesn't exist, right? So once that property comes into existence, of course, it's going to be worth more than what you paid when it was just paper. Okay. But once the property exists, there are no restrictions for you to use that property for Airbnb, for short-term rental, for corporate rental, or long-term rental, right? Or for relocation, because there's a lot of people now that are getting their passports specifically to move out of the country. So whatever your strategy is, they make it very accessible, easy, and the price point is suitable for someone looking to either invest or relocate into a new market. So hopefully that was clear enough for people to understand how it works And get this, the benefit is that during the course of that payment plan, there is no interest. So what you agree to pay is what you pay. There is no additional interest that you are being charged on that purchase. So whereas if you were buying a cash property in the US for $300,000, for example, you would have to pay $300,000 at closing to get your keys. In Dubai, they are allowing you to split up that payment over time in order to get your keys. So you don't have to have it all up front, and you don't have to have the credit, and you don't have to have tax returns. Like, what are we really talking about? Like, let's schedule a consultation and talk more about how you can invest in Dubai.
Oh my gosh, Denise, that was such a great breakdown. And I tell people who have asked me, so like Denise mentioned, I have a property that I purchased in Dubai with Denise. So y'all, if you for real, if you're thinking about becoming an international investor, she is your girl. And I was mind blown at how easy the process is. I am a realtor. I walk people through this process every day. It was nothing compared to what it was like when
nothing like the US.
It was, and then what was crazier to me was it's easier as a foreigner to buy a property in Dubai than it is as an American citizen buying a property in the US. Mind blowing.
Yes. Now, yeah, and I love that for us. And this is the knowledge and education that we need to have, because let's just be honest, investing in America is not what it used to be. You know, we have grown our country, which is an amazing country. I will never talk bad about the US, but it is capped out in its growth in many ways. You want to take your money, you want to put your investor hat on, take your emotional hat off, and say, where can I plant my money that in a place where I know it will grow? Dubai is an emerging market. I mean, their 2040 plan is ridiculous. Their vision, I mean, it's stuff flying all around over here. You got robots and all. It's just so much advanced technology that is being developed here, and it's just going to take us so much further. But what I really also love about it is that they have a sense of solidarity in their vision. You know, they work and they move in tandem. And in the US, it just feels like we all have our own opinions, we all have our own thoughts. We're all always fighting one another. It's not like a one band, one sound. We're all Americans, we're all one. It's more turmoil. But here, you just feel the sense of oneness. And when you have a nation that can move together under one rule and one rule of thumb and have order, you can advance so much more quickly than a lot of other countries. And that's why the UAE is only about to be 52 December 3rd of this year, but they are already on the top 10 GDP list. Can you imagine what they've had to do to beat out all these countries who have been around for thousands of years to be on the top 10 GDP list in such a short time by uniting and coming together? So I want to be a part of an area or a country or a continent that is moving in the upward growth, you know what I'm saying, with upward growth. And that's how you have to think about money. Where can I go that is going to be going up? Because think about it this way. We all see bricks. We all see what's happening to the dollar. We're all experiencing the results of inflation. If you're a multimillionaire in US dollars and the dollar falls, are you still a multimillionaire? You have to really start thinking about, how can I hedge against risk and diversify my currencies? I have a t-shirt that says, I earn currency in different currencies. That's one of my taglines, because it's so important. It's cute and it's catchy, but it's so important for us to seriously sit with our family and in our SOP structure, think about how we're going to hedge against the changes of the economy and of the world. Because if you don't change and if you don't bend, then guess what? You're going to leave yourself just very, very at a loss by not preparing for those changes, because it's going to happen.
Absolutely. I need to get my t-shirt too. I earn currency in different currencies for sure.
Yes.
But talk to us a little bit though, because, okay, so listeners, they hear, so it's easy to buy a property in Dubai. But what makes it a good investment, especially when we talk about new investors, that real estate in general is new and different for them. But now we're throwing them a whole nother curveball where we're talking about somewhere all the way across the waters.
Absolutely. So I think we touched on being a part of a market that is in upward growth mode. So obviously that allows for you to get in on the pricing on the lower end and then grow with the country. But also, it is the number 3 safest place to live in the world. And I don't know about you, but you cannot put a price tag on your safety. I'll give you a real life example. I spent a month in the US recently, and I left my front door open. I did not worry. I didn't lose a wink of sleep. I wasn't thinking about my place or anything because I know that it's protected and it's safe and that there is a system in which protects, that protects the citizens against crime. And so I feel so much safer here as a single woman walking at night, conducting business, leaving my door open. Like it just feels so safe. And that peace of mind, you cannot put a price tag on it. And that's one of the reasons so many millionaires and billionaires are moving here. People think it's just about the luxury lifestyle. No, it's also about the safety because what's the good in having a Bugatti if you can't drive it out of your garage? You know? And so that's another reason. I also love the geographic location of Dubai. So just because you start as an international investor in Dubai, you can also hop over to Africa in 3 hours and invest in Egypt. You can also go to Europe in 6 hours. You can go to Italy in 6.5 hours. You're in Greece, 6 hours. So you have such a proximity to so many other developed nations and underdeveloped nations that you can take advantage of learning to grow and invest. I've met so many different people from around the world by being in this place. There's over 200 nationalities that are represented here. So when you're talking about growing your business in scale, you get the benefit of owning real estate, but you also get the benefit of getting new relationships outside of your current market. So many of us focus on, oh, my cousin didn't support me or my friend didn't buy my products. You forget that there's 8 billion people in the world. But once you get exposed to a new market and you see that, wow, this person is from here, this person is from there, this person is from there. Now I have opportunities that follow me with every new relationship that I make. So I'm not just looking at my investment into real estate. I'm also looking at my personal development relationships. I'm also looking at my business partners that I'm going to meet. I'm looking at my new investor pool that I'm generating. So you have to think outside of just that one thing. And once I realized how life-changing positioning myself was here, it was a no-brainer for me to move and to invest. So those are some of the reasons I want you guys to really think about when it comes to an international investment play.
That is so good, Denise, because a lot of times we do get caught up in just the money. Like, is that somewhere I want to put my money? But there was so many benefits. The conversations that I get to have when people now find out I'm an international investor, the rooms that I am invited to, it makes a difference. And my mentor talks about the law of exposure. Once you've been exposed, you can't be unexposed. And so now I see a different way of living, a different way of thinking, different opportunities that I can't unsee. And so of course it's up to me to follow through and take action, but that desire has been lit in me for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think we talked about that too in your process as far as I'm like, Tiff, just trust that this is going to elevate your brand, your real estate business. Like people are going to listen to you a whole lot more because you're doing something that people can only dream of, people that haven't even thought of to even dream of. So it's just so unique. And we're on the front end of this thing that we're going to be able to be the pioneers to show people like, look, this is how we're doing it. This is what I'm doing. And you just think about those short elevator pitches and you drop, oh, I'm an international investor in Dubai, whatever product you want to sell. After that, they're going to want to buy, they're going to want to sit next to you at the brunch. They're going to want to be in your presence because it's so different,
Absolutely. And one thing I definitely want to point out that I learned through my process was the different mindset regarding debt as well when thinking about the UAE. So the cool thing about my property, it's going to be paid off, y'all, in 7 years. 7 years, the number of completion is paid for. And I'm only paying for it while it's in construction. Once I have folks move in, they actually take over those payments for me. And so me willing to make the short-term sacrifice for the time that it's being built, it's already going to produce that someone else is going to be buying this asset. Y'all know we're here to get assets. They're going to be paying this asset for me. But Denise mentioned there's no interest rates. So I don't have a loan. This is a cash this is a cash
Yeah.
purchase. And so in 7 years, it is completely paid for and will cash flow me forever. The length of
Yeah.
me having, and I don't plan on ever selling. So
Right. Yes, and that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful because that is a real investment. That is how you have to look at it. And this is what I want to point out too, especially first time investors and especially the culture, because I think that we have a really hard time with delayed gratification. We have a really tough time with saying, you know what, hold on. Let me not buy these Louis shoes right now. Let me wait on this. Let me make my monthly payment for my investment property in Dubai. You know what I'm saying? So when we think about it differently, we can move differently. We can make better decisions because it's not that we don't have the money. It's just about what is your priority? What
Yes.
is it that you can wait for? Because we see the shoes right now. We know it goes perfect with this outfit that I want to wear tonight, but it's hard for us to see something 2 years from now. So I would urge you, if you're listening to this, to really check your delayed gratification meter and know that, like, okay, you know what? There are some things that I can cut back on to push a little bit further into my goal bucket and a little bit less into my wants bucket. Because if you do that long enough, your wants will become so much more easy to obtain. It will no longer be like a birthday gift to you to get a pair of designer shoes. It will be an everyday situation. You can just go online and get it whenever you want to. So I want us to really think about that, because when I am talking to people about new construction, they're like, oh, they'll be, built in 2 years, or I have to wait 3 years. I have to wait. You know what? That time is going to pass anyway. Think about when you graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it feel like that just happened? Like half of us don't even want to say how long ago that was. You know what I'm saying? But it happens so fast. So you mean to tell me you can't wait 2 years? Or think about your newborn baby that now just graduated college. How fast did that happen? But we don't want to wait 2 years to pour into something that can pay us in full for the rest of our lives. So I think that's a good point to make.
Denise, you preaching now. That is so good, because even now I had to, and Denise, she had to get me together, and you need a realtor that is going to get you together, because it can be scary. It can be difficult to say, I'm not going to see a return on this for a couple of years. Can I trust myself in my decision-making that I am going to stay consistent with this? And so I tell people, like, I got a house on layaway. That's, if back in the day, I got a house on layaway, but instead of me, when I used to have something on layaway and I would just get that one thing and then that was it, I'm getting a cash flowing, income producing asset that I am getting to put on layaway, and money that I would be saving, or either saving in the bank where it's actually losing money, or I would be investing in something else. I'm the 1%. I have that 1% payment once a month. And I get to own a house for that. And so what people normally would make as their mortgage or their rent, those that are moving to Dubai, they're able to do this, where they're able to start this process, having the foresight of, I want to go to Dubai in a couple of years. Let me go ahead and buy this property now. When I get there, I'm going to be paying my rent mortgage anyway. Why not pay on something that's going to be paid off soon?
Absolutely. No, that is the perfect way to look at it. Like, I love that thought process, because when you think about a savings account, like, if you really calculate a 1% payment, oftentimes that is nothing more than a wig, a dinner, and getting your makeup done for a night out. Like, and it's done. And I love my wigs. Like, just for the look, y'all don't eat me up in the comments. I know it's a little hard. I had to slide it on right before I popped on this video. But listen, focus on the message. Don't focus on the part. I keep looking at myself. I'm like, dang it, I want to shift it just a little bit.
I cannot.
Look, I'm crazy, y'all. Look, we make money, we mad, we love. Like, that's how I am,
Absolutely.
Yes. So that is how we have to start thinking about it. Like, just temporary sacrifices for long-term benefit. That is the biggest part that I want you guys to take away from this. Like, be patient in the process long enough to get yourself out of where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you've gotten to work with a lot of investors, both here in the States and Atlanta, but then also internationally. What are some common traits or personality types maybe that you have noticed from your most successful investors?
That's a really great question. Nobody's ever asked me that, actually. I believe that some of the traits that I see in investors is their quick ability to make a decision. So, decision makers are people who see it, they understand the opportunity, and they act. They don't go to a seminar or a conference and sit there and write all these notes down and then put the notepad somewhere in their closet and never look at it again. They are people who take the information, write it down, and execute. So people that are successful in this life, especially my top investors, they execute because they understand the power of time. Success loves speed. So they understand that, hey, this opportunity may not last. I need to act now. Whereas you have some people who are skeptical and they're like, oh, well, I can wait, or a better opportunity may come along. That may not necessarily be the case. We all had that one that got away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I know I'm the one that got away for a few of them. I know this. I know that. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
So, don't always represent themselves. We got to get that out of our mind. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, you rechart a new path, but that does not mean that couldn't have been the opportunity that got you there a lot quicker. Sometimes you're going to be taking 285 and you could have just went straight up 75, and so that's one thing. Another thing that I would say is that they really trust the process. They're patient. They trust, they know that like they are able to deal with delayed gratification. They're able to make sacrifices in their finances, and they're focused on their goal. So they're very goal oriented and very goal focused. And then the third thing I would say is that they check their partnerships, whether that's friendships or whether that is their spouse. They have a partner who is on the same mindset, has the same mindset that they have, or they have good friendships or business partners around them or mentors that are guiding them in the right direction. So they're not easily distracted by what might go wrong. They're just focused on how can we hedge against risk, but also take risks that are calculated risk, of course, but we're not afraid to lose. We understand that sometimes you're going to lose a little bit in this game, but the goal is to win more than you lose. Just like with having a partner, you're not going to find someone that has 100% of what you want. If they got 85, you might want to go ahead and put a ring on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the same thing when it comes to investing. So if you're just one of those people that's just like, I'm gonna wait, you're never gonna make the decision, and you're not gonna get to your goals.
Hey y'all, Tiffany here. Are you looking to purchase or sell real estate? As you know, I'm your aid to assets, and I want to help you with all of your real estate endeavors. Whether you're local here like me in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area, I can then help you purchase or sell your next property. If you're looking to purchase or sell outside of North Carolina, let me know too. I can still help you. I have a team of agents all over the country that I can connect you with to partner on your next deal. Let's get to the closing table, y'all. We buy our way to wealth, whether that's buying right or selling better. Can't wait to hear from you. Click on the link in the bio if you want more information on how to personally work with me or an agent on my team. Talk to you soon. Absolutely. That is so good. So one of the dope things that I love about Denise, y'all, is not only does it, I just want to make sure I give you your flowers. You are such an inspiration, as a woman, as a mother, as a realtor, as a business, and I know that it is not fearlessness. I know that fear is real. We encounter it, but you are going to move despite the fear. And so I really love that about you. And though you're not only being a trailblazer, though you are making sure that you're reaching back and taking people with you. So I'm super excited because I get to come and hang out with you in Dubai soon. So tell us about Invest Dubai. What was the inspiration for this event?
Yes. So this is the new baby that I have birthed this year. It's called Invest Dubai 2023. So it's going to be my semi-annual event here in Dubai. My concept really came to me because I was like, you know what? I can't come here thinking that I'm just going to take all these clients from the agents that are here. I'm like, you know what? I want to approach my lead generation from a different angle. And I want to still directly speak to my target audience because I understand the language. I understand the culture. I know how to teach them the contracts in a way that they understand. So why am I going to try to dismiss that whole thing and go into a new market and completely forget about my client base that I'm already built? So my strategy was, hey, I'm here, guys. Let me pull you over here with me versus trying to disrupt the current market, because I'm being disruptive by doing it my own way and doing it different from the way that other people are doing it. I also felt like if I'm going to say, hey, I'm the first Black woman to open an independent brokerage firm in Dubai, I need to show activity. I need to show you all that it's real. I need to show that deals are being closed. I need to show people here, and I'm touring them with property. So I'm like, what better way to do that than to host an event? People love events. People love conferences. People spend money to go and learn. And so I was like, who doesn't want to come to Dubai? It's the number one most popular destination to visit in the world. So I'm like, worst case scenario, they're going to want to at least come to Dubai because they want to come to Dubai. So I'm like, I might as well sprinkle with. Yeah, exactly. So it's a win-win. You're getting a vacation and you're getting knowledge. So I'm like, let's put those two together and make this an educational and fun event and experience for Americans to come and enjoy. And I emphasize Americans a lot in this podcast, but I do want to make it known that I will work with any nationality that there is. My niche, though, is Americans. That's what I'm leading with because that is what my client base was built upon. But as I grow and as I expand, of course, I want all the clients and all the bags. Okay.
That part.
So Invest Dubai is essentially a seminar of events. There is a welcome dinner, and we're also doing a seminar where I break down the different strategies on how to invest in Dubai. Then we're going to do live property tours. So I'm walking you through not only how to buy, but you're going to see it for yourself. You're going to meet the developers firsthand. You're going to be able to really understand what's happening and what's going on, see, touch, and build a real estate so that it becomes really real to you. And then we're going to obviously sprinkle in some fun network because I have some really heavy hitters. I have everyone from brand new in real estate or investing, all the way up to multimillionaires who are flying over to buy. They're like, we've heard enough. We just want to come and buy. So I really love that I've been able to create this event. I held it in March. It was very successful. Now I'm doing it again in November. So I'm very excited to see you again, boo. Over here, it's going to be a vibe. I have so many little surprises in store for y'all. Y'all just don't even know.
I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting because one of the properties that we're going to get to tour is my building, right?
Yes. You're going to go
that's
to
gonna be lit.
So that you guys can see the show apartment there and all of that. So it's going to be great.
That's so good. I'm going to have to drop in the link so y'all can see the show apartment of my building that I purchased in so y'all can see that. And then we'll get some footage of how construction is going. Denise, don't play with me though and tell me that I'm going to find my husband while I'm over there with you.
Listen, you're not going to say that it's not, honey. You got 200 nationalities to choose from.
I love it. And y'all, this is why it's so important though to get into the room because you're going to meet people who are doing many of the same things that you're doing. I'm going to be very transparent. When I first connected with Denise, there was a group of us that got on the webinar, that were learning from her, that were learning about this opportunity. I know 3 of us who did it. And there were way more than that on the call. And of course, different people are in different seasons of life, different things going on. But no one that I actually knew personally at the time was who invested. I met them because we were now, okay, you invested with Denise too? You invested with Denise too? So now we became partners. But if I was going to wait because there was no one else that was going to do what I was willing to do, I wouldn't have this opportunity. I wouldn't get to be in these rooms. And so you build these relationships because you have like-minded people that are thinking about what you're thinking, that have similar goals. So that way you can challenge and push each other. And there's so many phone calls that I get now from people that were on that same webinar. Girl, how did I do my property doing? How is it going? And I'm grateful to be able to say that I took the leap to then show other people how to do that as well. And then continuing to go to events like this to expand that knowledge and expand on those opportunities. It just makes a huge, huge difference.
Huge difference. And I'm so glad that you were able to have your own mind and be focused on your own personal goals, because that also happens a lot with people, is that they get distracted by the other people's fears. And, a lot of us will dump our fears on other people and cause them to change their minds on different things and opportunities. So just make sure that the people around you are pouring into you and not taking from you.
That is so good. It's really easy to not realize how much we're dumping onto other people, our own fears, our own insecurities.
Yes.
And so I had to get real quiet, and me and the Lord had to have some real conversations and do some real math to see, okay, you know what, this is something that I feel comfortable with, and I want to take this step of faith. And like Denise mentioned earlier, really trust the process.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Now, I'm super proud of you. I can't wait. I'm just getting so excited because it's getting closer and closer, and we are almost there to meet with my group of investors in Dubai. So registration has been closed, unfortunately, but if you are interested, you can definitely join us next year. So just keep an eye out for the information as that drops for next year's group.
Absolutely. Y'all, I'm going to get some highlight clips so y'all can see why y'all need to sign up next year. I'll make sure we get some interviews and some footage so y'all can see exactly what we're doing over there, and just explore the possibility and just see if it's right for you. So Denise, before we wrap up, I know, so you have this conference but you also have a community that you are getting ready to launch. So again, I tell y'all, she continues to pour into people. Tell us more about that.
Yes. So I have an online academy called the CEOwner Academy. And so people see the word and they're like, CEOwner, what is that? So I named my academy CEOwner because, yes, you want to become a CEO. A lot of us focus on that title. Like, yes, we're CEO. But truly, we want to transition from CEO to ownership through automation, through scale, through our teams, et cetera. Because a CEO, by definition, is still an employee of a corporation. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to have to work in your business forever. You want to own the business, because guess what? Is Warren Buffett coming into the office because you're out of paper in your printer, or dealing with issues between employees? No, he is an owner. So we want to be in the ownership seat. So it's about transitioning from CEO to owner in mindset, as well as in the physical occupation of what you do. And so I'm going to be relaunching that academy to bring on not just entrepreneurs, but even 9-to-5ers who are just ready to make the transition or even learn how they can make that transition into entrepreneurship. And I want to help entrepreneurs take their business to the next level, because truth be told, a lot of entrepreneurs are not making 6 figures a year. As a matter of fact, most 9-to-5ers are making more than entrepreneurs by a landslide. It's just a misconception. So I want to show you how to actually and truly scale your business from 6 to 7 figures. So that's what my academy is about, and I'm really proud of it, and I can't wait to relaunch it.
That is so exciting. And it's such a good opportunity for folks to jump in, whether they're in the entrepreneurship space, the 9-to-5 space, or someone like me where we're in both, because I tell people, it's been this phenomenon recently where, we have glorified entrepreneurship, and don't get me wrong, it's lit. I love it here. Like, it's so amazing. And also the money that I make at my job, if I say I make 6 figures, that's what I take home. As an entrepreneur, if you make 6 figures, that's the start. And then you got to subtract all the expenses, the overhead, everything. And so the 6 figures, if I was to make that at my job, is the end. The 6 figures as an entrepreneur is the beginning. Like, you got a lot that you got to go with that. And so it's so important. But as a CEO, you can be the CEO of your life. Like, I am the CEO and president of Me Inc. I run my life like a business. And if more of us had that business owner mindset, we can make so many quantum leaps and really ensure that all the areas of our life are running successfully. So I'm so excited about that launch. I can't wait to get to more details on that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to let you guys know what I'm actually doing right now. Is you can join me on the CEOwner group chat, which is simply a mental health check-in for anyone, man, woman, whatever, because we all go through things. And I host this every first Sunday of the month. And basically, it's just a private call where we get on and we just kind of dump our emotions on the table. I ask different questions, from as light as what's your favorite recipe, all the way up to have you ever considered suicide, and then whoever wants to share, they share. And it has been so beneficial to so many people. We've had breakthroughs on the call. We've had businesses that have been created from the call. We've had people crying and really just sharing what they've experienced, because even though I get on social media and I look like I have it all together, there are so many days where I'm in a bonnet and I'm like under my covers crying. You know what I'm saying? And so this opportunity is literally just for you to feel love and to be supported through whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's business or personal. So it's not a sales call. I don't get on there and try to sell you a course at the end. I don't talk about business. You know, it comes out here every now and again, but I always try to reel it back in because I don't want it to be a business call. I want it to be about you, you know? And so I'm really enjoying the growth of the CEOwner group chat. And again, that's every first Sunday of the month.
Fantastic. So we'll make sure to have the details of that in the chat, in the description box, so that way you all can join every first Sunday, the CEO owner group chat. So one question I want to ask, well, two questions. First one, before we wrap up, what advice would you go back and give 21-year-old Denise about your journey?
Oh, 21-year-old Denise, I was giving birth to my son. I actually couldn't drink on my 21st birthday because I was pregnant.
Oh,
so that actually marked the toughest time in my life. So to ask me that question now and to think about where I was and my headspace was at that time, I would just say, trust the process and give it to God, and know that that ambitious little girl in high school and that top scholar and that athlete is still going to be number one in so many other areas of life. Even though you may feel like you're scorned by being a single mom and having a child out of wedlock, and you may feel like you're not worthy right now, or you may feel like you're not going to make it, or you don't have all the money that you need to provide for this child. Know that this child is going to be better than provided for. Know that you're going to make it. Know that you're going to still obtain your degrees. And guess what? You're going to get everything out of life that it is that you wanted to accomplish. And I have some surprises in store that you didn't even know that I was preparing on your behalf.
It's the surprises for me. God has a way of blowing our mind when we least expect it. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so good. Okay. So we like to do some intention setting, some manifestation here on the podcast as we close out. A year from now, or maybe 3 years from now, your choice, what's going to be true for you and your business?
So a year from now, what will be true for my business is I will have at least 50 agents on my team in Dubai, specifically in Dubai. 3 years from now, what will be true in my business is that I will be the number one broker in Dubai, and I will have been on television by that time. So those two things I know are true.
Come on, claim it. No hesitation.
I'm gonna be married.
Listen, because we have all the things. We have all the things. We have the successful career and the successful love life. We claim it all. We coming for all the things.
7-figure months. So I'm speaking all of that.
Listen, and I'm just with 2 or more gathered, Lord, you hear us. So we decree and declare we got with that. Okay. Oh man. Denise, it has been such a joy to have you on the podcast. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Y'all go ahead in the chat. Claim it now. I am an international investor in the chat. Yes. As you see, we set these declarations and then we work towards the goal. And so it all begins with making a commitment. And so Denise, I just thank you for your commitment and being a trailblazer, and also in sharing your knowledge and experience with those that look up to you and you inspire. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Boo. Can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much for your support, and I loved being here. So I can't wait for us to do our follow-up. And I'll see you guys soon. Follow me on all social media platforms at Denise the Broker. That's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all things Denise the Broker.
Fantastic. Well, y'all, this has been another incredible episode of the Aid to Assets podcast. We want to help you buy assets. We'll see you at the closing table. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another insightful episode of Aid to Assets. Remember, your journey from 9-to-5er to successful real estate investor is within reach. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep investing in your future. If you'd like to know more, connect with me on Instagram at Aid to Assets. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Until next time, happy investing.